Hi, it's Amy Pleet-Odle here, and I'm going to give a little demonstration on types of foldables that can be used in secondary school. So let me zero in on this one first. This is a foldable that is used probably in English class when students are studying narrative, the elements of narration. So Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. And you can see that there is a flap for setting, characters, plot, and theme. So if students need to, what is setting? So it's the place and time that something takes place. It also can get into mood depending on how complicated you want it to be. So students can write their notes underneath about the setting of Huckleberry Finn and so on. But by having this foldable, they see that there are 4 basic elements of narration. So let's take a look at another one. Let's go into a social studies class and look at this. Often students have a hard time keeping the sequence of events in straight for themselves. So here's a timeline for the American Revolution. A sheet of paper is folded not quite in half, and then there are slits made. And the teacher told them how many slits to make for the events leading up to the American Revolution. So let's say they want to know about the Townshend Act. They have written on here that it happened in 1767. And on the inside gives a description of what happened with the Townshend Act. So once students have completed this, as they're studying the different events, now they can go back and say, all right, I have a visual of all of these events. So if I were going to explain why the colonists decided to revolt against the British, well, now I have a series of events I could use to write that paper. Okay, here's another example. Suppose students are writing an argumentative essay. Pro, the reasons pro, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the reasons against, whatever it is they're arguing. They could write a paper that gives the pro and the con, or they could start assembling their ideas and say, gee, I have a stronger case for pro. I think I'm going to write that if I have a choice. Or I have a stronger case for con. Or this could be used for a debate. Suppose you have a team of students, and my team is going to be pro of whatever the issue is, and we're going to assign different members of the group to work on our reason 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we also need to anticipate what the other team is going to have in their debate. And maybe I'm going to be the person taking the lead on our pro argument number 2. I'm going to gather all the evidence, collect other information that people on my team have, and come up with a really strong argument number 2. But somebody else in the team is going to be in charge of the reason number 3 that the other team might have to argue, and we're going to be ready for a rebuttal on that. So that's a graphic organizer for us to keep it all straight. Now here's a great one for English class when we're looking at grammar, but this could also be done for foreign language teachers. You can see the 8 parts of speech that are listed here. Under each one, you will see a definition and then some examples of noun, verb, so on. So if the teacher is saying, now I want to see really strong adjectives, I could go adjective, adjective, let me see. Oh yes, I remember what an adjective is. And if the teacher says, well, you have a lot of prepositions there, but you have not used good adverbs. Wait a minute, what's a preposition? Go back and look. So this could be handy. What I like about it is it also shows kids grammar is contained. There are only 8 parts of speech that generally we need to know. Now my favorite is this little book. If you fold it right, one sheet of paper, if you fold it right, you end up having 6 pages on the inside and the front and the back cover. Kids love these because they're like a nifty little book. I've also used them with adults in professional development, and they seem to love them too. So this is one, the example here is on the rules for exponents. So in the inside you see definitions. X is the base, 4 is the exponent, and then rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3, what to do if you have 0 power, and how do you handle negative exponents. And on the back are some sample problems. Now you can design these any way you want, use whatever content you want. Teachers sometimes have students put these foldable organizers, glue them or tape them into their notebook so that they will have them. which is a handy thing for them to do. The important thing is what happens in the brain when students are doing these graphic organizers. By folding the paper, by really seeing that there are a certain number of tabs or a certain number of folds, they form a web in their brain to have that many chunks of the key information. And they use that as a scaffolding for them to tie all the other details into it. So it's brain-based, research-based, effective things, and actually secondary students seem to like it just as much as the elementary. So have fun with foldable graphic organizers. Bye.